Would-be farmer, Central Florida. Let's talk about permaculture. It's rainy outside right now, so I'm not going to be bouncing around out there, so I'm going to do it from the confines of my living room. So anyway, permaculture, the concept. The term was coined in the mid-70s by a brilliant professor named Bill Mollison and a student from the Tasmanian College of Higher Education, I believe, who was studying environmental design. These two hooked up at a symposium or a conference or a speaking engagement after David Holmgren, the student, heard Professor Mollison speaking about ecology and about agriculture. And Holmgren thought, I think this way. This is what I need to talk to this guy. So, make a long story a little bit shorter, they had a good discussion. Next thing you know, David Holmgren has moved in to Professor Bill Mollison's house, started a relationship there, a mentor-protege relationship, if you will. And Holmgren was trying to put together a project for his second year of this advanced study, as I recall the story. And Mollison said, well, why don't you put together something on why modern agriculture doesn't emulate a forest system. The forest uses predominantly trees as the food crop, fruits and nuts, and perennials. But our agriculture system is almost entirely annuals. So Holmgren was like, okay, I like it. That manuscript, the work there that Holmgren put together, bounced back and forth between Mollison and Holmgren, became the manuscript for what was to be Permaculture 1, published in 1978. Pretty good stuff when I was in high school. So here, this guy Holmgren, in 78, he would have been 23. So he started working on this concept with Mollison, who was 50 in 78, but he's working on this concept. He started when he was 20. When I was 20, I could barely handle brushing my teeth, and flossing, whoa, that was going to be an advanced study for me, for sure. So that is when permaculture was termed, when the word was put together, permanent agriculture and permanent culture, as it was soon to become understood, that a permanent agriculture can go nowhere without a sustainable permanent culture. And this was based on their understanding of societies they had studied that were sustainable for hundreds and thousands of years. So now we have this permaculture idea. Well, okay, this is great, but do we really need it? Well, can we not feed ourselves based on what we're doing? Well, probably not for very much longer, because we are depleting our resources. I think only the most ardent conspiracy theorist would not believe that we are depleting our resources, our forests, we are polluting our oceans, we are draining our aquifers, we are destroying topsoil. And yes, I know there are reports out there by well-meaning people, good-looking, intelligent, degreed, credentialed professionals that can back almost any argument on any topic that you want. You can go into the internet, you can go on YouTube, you can go anywhere with an idea of what you want to believe, and you can find something that'll support it. Get with some old wise people. Get with some people who maybe saw the Central Valley of California back in the day and saw that the topsoil has been eroded, that the aquifers have been drained. I can tell you from personal experience, I'm neither a young man nor an old man, although I just turned 60, so I am classified as elderly. But I can't compare my experience with my girlfriend's father's experience. He was born in, he's a protege of Mollison. He was born in 29, I believe. So the things he saw, the nature that he may have witnessed back when he grew up in the 30s, is going to be different from what I saw in the 60s. which is going to be different than what some child may see growing up today from year 2000 and on. But there are still clearly signs of degradation out there. I can tell you when I was in the Navy, this old Navy shirt here, not proof I was in the Navy, it's just proof I have a Navy shirt, right? Okay. But I can remember as soon as we got 12 miles out to sea, it was okay to start dumping everything. We dumped stuff. I was embarrassed. And at the time, I was a card-carrying, full-fledged, paying Republican Party member, Christian conservative, wave the flag, all of that good stuff. So I was like, this ain't cool. So now when I look at reports, when I find something online, when I see a book in a bookstore that talks about what we're doing to our oceans out there, I can go, yeah, we use it as one big trash dump. We certainly did, so I can relate to that. But if you don't have any experience out there, if you just sit in a room and you're fed whatever you have an appetite for, maybe you're not going to get some of this. Maybe you have to get out and you have to see. I have recently been informed that the Central Valley in California has dropped about 30 or 40 feet in the last 100 years. It has dropped because we have pumped so much water out of it. We have pumped so much water out of the aquifers, the water table underneath the valley, because we have to use all this water to irrigate these crops, because quite frankly, we shouldn't be growing all these things in these areas. Yes, that valley, the Central Valley of the Sacramento River and the San Joaquin River that drains from the Sierra Nevadas, yes, that area has been fertile for a long time due to lots of flooding of the rivers, the American River, the Sacramento River, the San Joaquin River, and all the other rivers that feed that area and go into San Francisco Bay. Years and years and years, they have made it fertile. But because we have done so much monocropping, growing one specific variety of let's say soy over 20,000 acres or 10,000 acres or 5,000 acres or whatever, we've created an environment that is out of balance. It is a monoculture in certain areas, and when we do this, we invite certain predators, certain pests that are interested in that one crop, and when they get there, they it's just thousands of acres of one thing, and they eat and they reproduce and they multiply, and they multiply so much faster than any predator that might be in the area, because the predators get there, but they probably get there too late, and we see this huge problem. So then we have to spray chemicals, and these chemicals damage the ecosystems, and then so we're in this cycle, this treadmill. We have to keep doing pesticides, and then we have to till to try to find more fertility, and it's an imbalance. And then irrigation washes all these chemicals into the rivers, and these chemicals produce algae blooms, and the algae blooms go crazy, and the algae dies, and that sucks up a lot of oxygen, and then because the oxygen is sucked out of the water, then the fish in the area, in the environment, they don't have the oxygen they need, then they die, and we are creating a mess. But if you look into deep grassland prairies, if you look into forest, if you look at natural lake ecosystems of which we haven't screwed with, you don't see these problems. You rarely see a problem in nature getting out of hand with pests or with overpopulation or whatnot, because it's quick to control. If you're in a balanced environment, for example, I saw this here where we live. We have a fairly well-balanced environment here. A lot of diversity. It's all dirt roads between us and the Lake George ecosystem. There's wildlife management areas around here, lots of flora and fauna. So we don't have any major imbalances here that I can see. There are these nasty grasshoppers all over Florida, and I don't know what the Latin is. I think they call them lubbers, but they're multicolored, they're substantial in size, and they just eat gardens to death. Well, I have seen maybe 2, 3 tops, so infrequently here, And I have heard from locals, oh, well, there's no predators for them. There's no predators. There's no predators. They're gone, so they just multiply. So we have to spray them. Well, I haven't sprayed here for them. So we must have the predators here that'll keep that in check. Someone's keeping those in check. A couple years ago, I saw aphids on one of my sweet tangerine trees, and I was like, "Oh, what to do? That's going to be horrible." And so I didn't know what to do. So I said, "Well, I'm just going to trim off these leaves," and I trimmed off those leaves. I think I put them in the compost or whatnot, and didn't have any aphid problem. Then I got them again next year, some aphids on this little area. And so I'm going to do nothing. I did nothing. Lost a few leaves. Next thing you know, I see ladybugs there. They're taking care of business. I don't have a problem. So permaculture is the idea that we can emulate what nature does to keep ecosystems healthy. We can grow food that way, and we can combine some fruit trees that are suitable for the area. We can combine some perennials, some reseeding annuals, etc., etc. And if we can grow more food doing this on our local properties, then some of these big agricultural farms can be returned back to nature, because nature will start healing itself. Let these turn back into pastures, savannas, and forests. That's how we can help via permaculture, and that's why we need permaculture. And I'm about out of words on this video. I'll probably have some more words for one later. That's it. Would-be farmer, I'm out.